brought to you by Wendy's. Let us bring the tailgate to you with delivery.
The last time Bama LSU was the game of the century, it was a 9-6 affair. We certainly didn't see any high-octane football, but that's exactly what you're going to get. You get a healthy Tua, we're going to have some real problems. We're going to have some real offense, and defense is going to have problems. And this is the thing I'm looking for Tua. I want to see him be mobile. I want to make sure that ankle and that tightrope procedure are good to go. You see him here being able to pick up a first down. That's stolen yardage on 3rd and 5, and that's something that a defense cannot account for when you look at what they're able to do, especially when you're trying to cover all those dogs they have at the wide receiver spot. And then on the other side of things, we're going to be watching Joe Burrow. He is the best quarterback probably that we've ever seen at LSU, and his ability to fit the ball into tight windows makes LSU an absolute machine in terms of what they're able to do. You see here to Justin Jefferson in between 4 defenders, fitting it into a tight window. I love this right here. You're going to see it right. Look at his eyes. Look at the determination. Look what he's ready to do. And boom, you see him here hit his spots. We're going to see Burrow. We're going to see Tua. We're going to see Bama. We're going to see LSU. We're going to get deep into it on Tape Don't Lie.
Well, you can tell by the rankings, it looks like we made up some ground, but, we still got to beat them.
For this episode of Tape Don't Lie, we got Chris Martin in the building. Let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Let's show as much footage as we can of Bama LSU. Let's look at the first play. The biggest thing that's in question right now, Tua's health. Yep. And I know you know about this tightrope procedure. I know you know about that high ankle sprain line. But what Tua brings to the table is his ability to move. And I think people don't realize that he is a runner that can play that quarterback position.
No doubt about it. And I think that's the one consternation point for me is just, will he be able to be the same version of himself, particularly when you get into the run action? Does he have the short area quickness? Can he get that foot in the ground and change direction? And how are things going to be above the neck when things get muddy around that ankle? And so that's going to be one of the things to watch closely, especially early on, because you would have to think LSU is going to try to test him.
Yes.
They're going to dial up some heat just to see how he's doing.
Yeah, I think that's the key. And we see here on this little rollout, it looks easy. It looks easy as he gets the ball to Major Tennison for the touchdown against Duke. But this is something that's going to be on your mind when you have that ankle issue, and how confident he is in that ankle. We're going to see that come into play on little plays like this. And then as we get to the next play, we're also going to see it come into play when he has to protect himself. Because I think as much as it is physical, there's also going to be some mental element to it. And can he do the things that we've already seen him do?
And I wonder, do you just try to keep him in the pocket and not have him getting out on the perimeter, making plays like this? Now, here we can see a great example of his upper body strength, and then also that he's a strong lower unit runner. And so you're not going to tackle him with just an arm tackle. You got to get your feet and your hips behind it. Watch here how he just eludes, escapes the rush, gets out of that because of the upper body strength. Now here comes the lower body strength, able to put the shoulder down and get the dirty yards. That's what he adds. That's the layer that he brings to this Alabama offense.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking for, because if he can't give you this, then he's not playing at full Tua. And full Tua is a remarkable player. You see him there evading Chris Rumpf, but you see how violent the run action is into the ground. You see there the rubber pellets flying up because he's driving those feet into the ground. So I think this is going to be the interesting thing, because we know we cannot get this with Mac Jones. And what we see here is a play that's broken down. We've got everything covered. It's broken down. Okay, things didn't go the way that I wanted them to go, so it doesn't matter. Not only am I going to keep us on schedule, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we're in 2nd and 4. Which is on schedule and a great thing. And with Mac Jones, you don't get that.
And what I loved is that you talked about his feel. When we talk about this, he was able to feel the leakage and then get out of trouble. Now, here's where you're going to see a classic example of different body type, different disposition. This is a guy that's barely over 200 pounds, and so he wants to get down. He cannot take the contact versus Tua, who's 220. 225, can lower shoulder, can run through arm tackles. That's a big difference when you're talking about offensive prowess as well.
Yeah, and I think that as we talk about Tua as a runner, we do need to talk about him as a passer. This guy is electric throwing the football. He is so accurate. He throws darts. This guy's throwing pure heat every time, and I love this. Comes out of the play action, full back to the field, and then he looks at the top side, doesn't like what he sees out of the top side, a quick diagnosis, and then he's getting the ball to Miller Forrestall.
It's a great example of just how he flips his head around, but it also talks about how decisive, how deliberate. Quick read, let me take a peek. It's not there. Here we go. Find the hole in the defense. Forrestall's able to find the end zone. It shows how smart he is. It shows how hard and detailed he prepares and he plans for the game. And then now it's about just using my talents, letting my God-given ability take over. Here again, take a peek. Watch this. Sling it. Spin it right in the hole. Allow your playmakers to make plays. Get this ball to the house.
And I got to mention, I love the way he puts it on that back hip.
Yep.
Because if he puts it upfield, he's going to give that defensive back an opportunity to get involved in the play. Puts it on the back hip, stops his guy so that he can. The reason why he scores a touchdown is because of this throw.
Yep.
You put that on your back hip. Now he's able to stop, get underneath that corner, and now he's running to the pylon.
And the other thing is when you're so decisive and deliberate, then you don't turn the ball over. You don't give the defense a chance to make plays. He has no hesitation in his game.
Yeah, and I think what you see with Mac, you're going to see a little bit of that antsiness, that off-targetness. You got Jerry Jeudy open down the field, but you miss him. And I think with Tua, we have far less of those misses, and you cannot miss opportunities against this LSU defense, which is going to give you plenty of chances. And that's the thing I noticed against Florida when we talk about LSU. They gave Florida plenty of chances, but if you leave those points on the field, because this should be 6, you leave those points on the field, you're going to be in trouble.
And Jeudy knows it, and that's why he's looking like that, because he knows he has a symbiotic relationship with Tua. It's just not there with Mac Jones, and so that's a lot of time and practice. That's a lot of rhythm, passing, working in harmony, and being on one string. This is a bad miss. Yeah. And if we see this, if he's in the game and we see this, it's going to be really tough to recover. You have weapons out there. Let them play their game.
Yeah, that's why Tua is so important. And here we're going to get this essentially 4 verts here. And this is what I'm talking about with LSU. There is space and there is opportunity because they don't get to the quarterback. And when we run this clip, you're going to see, look, you're going to get verticals on the top side, you get verticals on the bottom side. And I love the way that Texas runs this, where they push everybody towards the interior, and you push those 2 guys to the interior. Now we got a one-on-one on the edge, and that's where our opportunity pays off. That's where our big receivers can make plays. That's where guys can get things done. Whether we're going to see if we can get a healthy Devontae Smith. The reality is, if we can get a healthy, if Jerry Jeudy is able to, if Jerry Jeudy is one-on-one in this situation, I am counting on Jerry Jeudy to make this play consistently. I don't think it's going to be like going up and back for the football like Brendan Eagles. I think it's going to be him flying to the end zone, but the opportunity is still the same.
Well, if I'm coaching up the corners too, I'm telling Flop, we have to stay in phase. And then when you get a chance to go make a play, go make it. Rake the ball out, finish, fight through his hands. Let me see your windshield wipers to swipe the ball out. And that's what he fails to do here. He's not in terrible position, but now your ball judgment has to kick in. You have to go up, stay in phase, and go fight through the finish, fight through his hands, find a way to rake the ball out.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing that I'm looking at too, is in looking at this football game. And we're going to see another big play here from Brendan Eagles, but again, against this LSU team where we see, you mentioned staying in phase. Here, he comes out of it. And I think that's the big thing for me, watching Christian Fulton come out early, come out of his coverage early because he thinks he's got a chance on the ball. But you have to make sure that your eyes aren't lying to you. You've got to make sure of what throw this is, because he's thinking it's going to be a 2-ball straight in, and instead it's over the top, and that's where he ends up getting burned. Ultimately gives up that touchdown.
And I think he'll be the guy that they will go after. Derek Stingley, although he's young, folks, he is a tremendous corner. He has no fear. He can get beat, and he'll flush and come back on the next play. And so I think they're going to try and stay away from Stingley. Stingley has 4 interceptions this season, so you better not try him too much, because he could take a ball and go back the other way.
Yeah, and I think this is, you talk about sort of the symbiosis. I think this is the symbiosis of a defense, right? Where you see them rush for, Ellinger is almost unbothered, which allows him to buy the time to make that play. And we talked about Tua and the ankle health. If Tua's not bothered, if you're not moving him off his point, one, you're not capitalizing on what he just had, the ankle procedure that he just had. You're not forcing him to make a play, and you're making his life easier because he's able to consistently make plays. And then we get this one, bad tackling. That's the other part.
Yeah, and what you can tell, too, is that you have a secondary that doesn't have great communication. The great defenses talk. They know where their help and their leverage is. And like on this play, you'll see it up top. This should be a combo coverage, meaning they should exchange wide receivers.
Tango.
If they tango it, if they combo it, this is a dead route. He's dead in the water. That's exactly how you would draw it up. So then the inside guy stays home. He takes the inside release receiver. Outside guy stays outside. He'd smother that route. And this could be a pick going the other way. But what it tells me, though, Michael, is that the defensive back coach doesn't trust his players to run these combo coverages. And so they just lock on the man. And then as such, subsequently, when you got to run the hump in man coverage on an inside breaking route.
With your defensive tackle as your whole defender?
Absolutely. You have no chance.
Yeah, no shot. But here's the good thing for LSU. We saw that there's going to be space and time for their defense in terms of Alabama scoring points. But guess what? Alabama's going to give you some opportunity too, and LSU is good enough to take advantage of it. So when I look at this, let's roll this tape. 3-man rush, and I'm going to tell you what, 3 is not going to be enough. They don't have Jonathan Allen. They don't have Quinnen Williams. They don't have those guys right now in terms of getting to the quarterback. So you're going to need your linebackers to be involved in getting to the quarterback and containing Joe Burrow. And you see it here, a 3-man rush. And I don't care that you play coverage with 7 because here's the reality. Burrow is going to find a way to pick you apart. That's how talented he is.
And speaking of the linebackers, there's not a linebacker on Alabama that's in the top 10 right now in terms of tackles in the SEC. That's a problem because Alabama's linebackers are usually run through clean air type guys and make all the plays. And so now you're going to be getting some guys on the second level, getting them into that secondary, and you're going to be trusting your defensive backs to make plays. I absolutely agree with you. Somebody on the front line has to step up and make plays because if you give Joe Burrow time, he's shown it time and time again this year. He will stand tall in the pocket and he will surgically take apart your defense. He's great on down the field accuracy. He can make the tight window throws. That's why he's making himself a lot of money in terms of going to the next level because he's got the arm talent. And again, he's got players outside that are absolute dudes. You don't want to go man-to-man with them too often because they can make you pay. I think it's going to be important that Alabama, they've got to create some turnovers. Somebody's got to step up and make a play. That's a beautifully thrown ball.
I love this ball. Jared Maiden, be on alert. I love Jared Maiden. I think he's one of the smartest football players that I've ever covered in terms of recruiting and going to the next level. He's going to have to realize what's happening to him and make plays because I'll tell you what, blitzing from depth is not going to get it for them. You need to have guys that are up near the line of scrimmage getting pressure because if you don't put Burrow on his back, he is going to pick you apart. So this is where I want to see Xavier McKinney, I want to see Jared Maiden really step up as safeties, show that they can not only cover, but they can get there and they can help their guy out. Because if Burrow's putting the ball right there, the only thing that can help the guy that's in true coverage is a safety coming over the top to take that football away.
And then he holds the safety just long enough. Look at the ball placement, though. He's doing exactly what he wants. Outside, away from the defender, away from the help and the leverage, and high enough that your receiver, Justin Jefferson, has to go make a play on it.
Yeah, and let's be real. Somebody got to be a grown man. Let's be real. And that's what we get right here. And I think people don't talk about this enough. That Auburn game, that's a unicorn. That is a unicorn. Who else has a defensive front that can do this?
Not many people.
Not a lot of teams.
Nope.
And so this is something that Alabama's going to need to pull out of their guys. I love Raekwon Davis. I think he is an absolute monster. I need him to step up. I need LeBron Ray to step up because you've got to duplicate this effort. You've got to duplicate this production against Joe Burrow so that you can slow down this LSU offense because if you don't get there and if he's not laying on the ground, then he's picking you apart, and that's going to be the real problem.
That's a zero technique that just flat out kicks someone's butt up front, knocked him all the way back into Burrow. Watch the leverage and power. This guy can't even anchor. He just walks him all the way back into Joe Burrow's lap. And that's what you want to do. Make him move his feet. Put him under some duress. Because if he stands back in the pocket like that, he's going to torch you.
So this is what Bama's going to have to do. And I think this is going to be really a healthy part of what Bama has to do. They're going to have to work some stunts. They're going to have to work some games. You're going to have to get Terrell Lewis, who is a freak. You're going to have to get him. Him and Anthony Jennings are going to have to be your pass rushers. They're going to be the guys that disrupts this game for Burrow because I don't think it's going to come from the interior. So you roll that tape and you look at this, you're going to see, obviously, we get Jennings outside, we get Raekwon Davis coming outside, and then you get Terrell Lewis going to the inside. And just look at this freak. Let's get this guy to the quarterback.
That's how you're supposed to look, right? Rocked up, this TE stun, as you said, he loops around, and he has good feel. Watch how he times this thing up. He hits it so he's going full speed. Now he's right in the face of the quarterback. Quarterback can't do anything. And it helps when you have long arms. It helps when you have that type of strength and that type of explosion that you can come in and make this rush get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I love that. Everybody's looking at the safety coming down into the hole, but the reality is it's coming from that defensive end. So I think that's a cool thing, a little bit of a window dressing for Nick Saban. We always talk about window dressing with offenses, but the reality is this is window dressing from a defensive standpoint. You get the safety, he's coming down. Okay, we got a safety pressure. Nope, don't worry about the safety. You got to worry about this game, and that center obviously could not get the job done. So I think this is how Alabama has to pressure Joe Burrow because you've got to get him on the ground. And the other part, Joe Burrow's a little slippery too. We talked about it with Tua. Joe Burrow can be a little little slippery too. So this is their young linebackers, Shane Lee, Christian Harris. And I love this out of him, right? A little bit of spy technique, and he's recognizing where the quarterback is so that I can minimize the damage.
Here's the thing that we got to keep in mind, too. LSU is so balanced in their attack. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, once he gets his shoulder square, he's tough to bring down, too. So they're going to try to keep Alabama's young linebackers guessing so they don't know what's coming at them. It's going to be big that Alabama shows they can take a punch and then fight back, and you're going to have to watch the eyes in this game. Watch the eyes in their linebackers. Do they get sucked up? Do they fall for the window dressing? Because this LSU is probably the most, maybe Ohio State, the most balanced offensive tack in all of college football.
Yeah, they do a good job. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is like tackling a little fire hydrant out there when he's running around. Once he gets square to the field, and once he starts going straight up field, you're in trouble. And so I love this out of Christian Harris, right? We're doing that. I think he's evolving as a linebacker. He's really growing up and growing into that role. But this is something we saw early on against Noah Gray. You're going to see Christian Harris here, and he's set up to stop what's happening, but then he gives it up anyways.
Yeah, you know, I don't like the alignment right off the rip. If I'm the quarterback and I see him walled off in his alignment, I know he's where I want to go with the ball and attack. And so you're going to watch his feet come apart too. So this is little technical detail stuff, but it's going to slow him down. There's a feet, they widen. I know I got him. I get across his face, I drive in this slant, and then all of a sudden we're moving the sticks. And so that's where he has to be smart. And I think he's probably trying to leverage it to force the receiver on a choice route outside. But the receiver sees his feet widen, and he knows he has him. He's got him on that back hip. Good job of driving the ball in there. Excellent play. He's got to be better with his positioning.
Yeah, I think it's like he knows what he's supposed to do, but because he's young, because he extends. He gets over his skis going outside hard because he's expecting him to automatically take that outside because he's giving it to him. An experienced guy knows I need to sell him upfield, get him upfield so I can get underneath, and that's what happens here. So the next step for him is going to be, how do I stop this? And I think we're going to see right here, boom, let's go. Yeah. This is what I want linebackers doing.
No doubt, Michael. And I was going to say, too, like you can tell that Alabama's defense coordinator, they're protecting these guys a little bit. They can't just go man-to-man. They don't have the experience yet to let their guys get on islands with the wide receivers or LSU. And so they're going to protect them with some zone coverage peppered in there, not go just man-to-man, say, I'm going to line up and we're going to beat you one-on-one.
Yeah, you've got to protect them. And I think this is going to be another example. This is an example for me of, you mentioned Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you mentioned the running game from LSU, and we've talked about Joe Burrow being able to move as well. Being able to get downhill, attack that tight end. The same tight end that got you on the little choice route, that guy now, you get to attack him. And I think they've got to really focus in on some of that punishing because you have to be physical.
Very instinctive play here, too, and much better. And what I tell you all the time, when you see Coach would say, when you see a skinny butt on you like that, turn your face, drive right through him, and you'll see that he doesn't want to block any longer. This is going to be an exciting matchup. And as I said, to me, the big difference, Michael, is the health of Tua. I know they're saying he's practicing. It's easier to do it with a red jersey. But when you get people around your ankle and around your feet, does that get you a little antsy? How are you from the neck up? That's going to be what I watch closely in this match.
Yeah, this will not be a 6-9 football game. This is going to be a showdown. I'm looking forward to watching it. We get a healthy Tua. We get Joe Burrow. This is going to be a quarterback duel. For Chris Martin, I'm Michael Felder. This has been another episode of Tape Don't Lie.
Brought to you by Wendy's. Let us bring the tailgate to you with delivery.